to mean something totally different than jewels and gold, and so all that stuff behind gold is interesting. A little painting that I just passed around is a mosquito coil that you burn to keep mosquitoes away. And the red stuff on top is iron oxide, which is the color of the earth in Africa, where I come from. And then the stuff on top, the shiny stuff, was originally, and I've changed it a bit, shellac, which is made from the bodies of insects that have dissolved and makes this beautiful varnish. So I started to understand that when you see materials and colors, they can have the meaning and be the narrative in a painting. And just because you don't know about it, I know about it, and I can start making portraits that are raw and revealing, but they're not if you don't understand what I'm saying. You know? Because, let me get back to these. This, in fact, most of the self-portraits I've done have been at very difficult times in my life. And you can see from looking at them, I think, I don't know, perhaps I'm wrong, how unhappy I am in the painting. And if you get close, you can read the words that I've scratched into them. And forever now, if I let people see them, you'll see how vulnerable and in pain I was at those particular times in my life. The hot wax, these two are encaustic, and I think that they're very obvious what they're about when you look at them. And so then I started to understand that you can have all these, making these comments and not reveal as much, but I'm revealing a lot to you this evening. These here are my fingerprints. It's a mono print. And then I beaded one of them. And I beaded it in red for obvious reasons, and because it's part of this same series. But I don't know if anybody's ever been to South Africa, or probably any other place, like Australia. The touristy things that they sell are always beaded. So this to me has a huge association with Africa. There's beaded mats and beaded keychains and beaded skirts and beaded headbands. And so this is to me a very African comment here. And in this one, I started using the beading and the marks with the little cells, and I've got the gold and the red and the gold. Your blood divides into the pussy color and the jewelry red color, and so they look so pretty and precious, but they can actually be quite disturbing. And then there's so much to look into in history. They used to think in medicine the body had humors, black humor, yellow humor, and red humor, and then if you were ruled by them, you had a certain type of personality. So these sorts of paintings are about that. And then I had this really, really important moment again. You've ever had this dreadful professor, shan't tell you his name, but he made everybody feel really horrible and uncomfortable. But he was another one of those important people. Unfortunately, I won't be able to tell you his name. But he was important because he challenged me like nobody else had challenged me before, even though it was so horrible and it was so difficult. And his project for us was to do a self-portrait, and it had to be not a literal self-portrait. And we had to have at least 75 different ideas. And I've never done that before. I just have an idea and then I make it. I've never had that process where I think and go, well, and so what I found out, and it was so valuable, is that every little thought can be expanded upon and expanded upon and expanded upon, and every little idea comes as the seed of something else. So some of the ideas I had for the self-portrait, I had to go back to South Africa because that's where I'm from, and we have this bush that flowers in summer. It's called a yesterday, today, and tomorrow tree. Have any of you ever heard of a yesterday, today, and tomorrow? So there's change colour. The flower changes colour for a period of 3 days. And then, yeah, so I thought that's kind of, and it has a certain smell about it, and almost everybody has one of these in their garden, and I have lots of memories of that from when I was a child. And then I was thinking about maps of places, and looking from above, the earth from above, and how distances feel, and I thought if I was what you call it, an appliance, what sort of an appliance would I be? I decided I'd be a vacuum cleaner. I'm constantly sucking stuff up, information, and sometimes when you do that sort of thing, you can't separate the good stuff from the bad stuff, and it all just affects you. I thought, oh, the symbolism of a vacuum cleaner. Oh my goodness, I'm a woman with a vacuum cleaner. Oh. Okay, anyway, so what I settled on was, it was so, after, oh my goodness, ideas and ideas and ideas. I had so many ideas, but what I settled on was, I decided that I would, oh wait, no, got to Canada, missed some fudge from South Africa, so I went to the fudge shop downtown Government Street, got some fudge. It's foul. What? Oh my gosh, it's dreadful stuff. So, I decided that I would find out how South African fudge is made. Yes? And when I taste that fudge. And then, so I make this fudge, and it's delicious, and I give it to people at Christmas, and I give it to people for birthdays, and I make it when I go on holidays for people, because it's so yummy and delicious, and it's, I'm like the fudge lady, so I thought I need to make a sculpture out of fudge, right? So, what I did was, I decided to look at the ingredients of fudge, and fudge has sugar in it. I've got some here for you to look at. Some sugar, and butter, and condensed milk, and vanilla essence. And I looked at the history of all of those things and the meaning of all of them. First of all, sugar. If you have been to South Africa, you'll know, and if you haven't, let me tell you, it's a huge sugar-producing country. You go over the Drakensberg, into Natal, and there are fields and fields and fields and fields, miles and miles and miles and miles, kilometers of sugarcane. And when you go on holiday to the coast, which you do, you stop and you cut down some sugarcane and you sit and chew on it in the car. It's a huge big industry, and there's lots of memories of that associated with sugar for me from South Africa. So I thought, that's a perfect ingredient for me. And I am sweet, but you know, and there's all sorts of things that sugar does to your teeth and your body that, you know, I'm sure that me in huge doses would do. Anyway, okay, butter. History of butter, very interesting, and it's fattening, and it's also main ingredient in shortbread. Lard in my background. Lard is most people so good. Yay! Yeah, and sugar, okay? And then condensed milk. This was the most wow ingredient for me because I was raised by a black nanny. And she always used to give me spoons of condensed milk as a treat. And she used to like condensed milk in her tea. And it was a big part of my life in South Africa. Children get condensed milk in little white toothpaste tubes as a treat as well. So I thought, yeah, condensed milk. And then, when I was in my last year of school, I read a book by Nadine Gordimer called July's People. And it's about it's sort of what is the word I want? Can't think of it right now, I'm so nervous. Book that catastrophe could happen. What might happen if black people got power? You know? Yeah. Okay, so it's a bit scary. And black people get power, and this one guy, July, rescues his madam and his master, and he takes them off into the bush, and they wake up in the morning, and July comes to serve them tea, and they think they're in a hotel, and they're like, oh, July, we'll go there now. And then they kind of wake up and realize they're in a mud hut. And on the tray in this mud hut is tea and a tin of condensed milk.